Hey guys, welcome to the MidFi Man channel. And I want to thank all of you who left comments over the past couple weeks on episode 5 and episode 6. It was great interacting with some folks. The first few episodes, as horrible as they were, and I understand that, had very little, had a couple interactions, but not like this. I think there were 35 total comments, and that may have included my reply. So, hey, 15, 16 comments. So I really appreciate the interaction. The interaction makes me want to do the videos, if that makes sense. Got several new followers. Thank you. I did get asked a couple times if, the direction of the channel. In other words, hey, we're going to do reviews, so on and so forth. And I really don't want to turn it into a review channel. It's not that I would not like to review some gear every now and then. I just don't want that to be the main gist of what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Right now, I've got a Schiit Freya N, which is mine. I've got a Schiit Kara. Both of them preamps, and the Kara's on the block right now running, and it's doing a marvelous job. I would like to be able to compare those two, but at this juncture right now, I don't want to make it a pure review, if that makes sense. Also, as far as vinyl is concerned, I would like to do not necessarily vinyl reviews. I don't want to get into this album versus that album, this pressing versus that pressing, or things of that nature. I would just like to talk about, as I'm buying vinyl, some of the things I find, good and bad, if that makes sense. I would also enjoy making reaction videos. And I believe I'm going to do one of them very soon. And reaction videos, good and bad. And what I mean by that is, I don't have to be polemic all the time. Sometimes somebody says something on a YouTube channel, and you're like, man, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. I totally disagree with that guy. So somebody will, you'll see that video, and you'll see somebody come along beside him and say, hey, here's my reaction video to that. And it's almost always negative. But quite frankly, I have seen a few times here lately that I would like to do a reaction video to what somebody says, and it'd be a positive thing, sharing my experience. So that's really probably 50% or more of what I would enjoy doing, is rather than strictly a polemic reaction to a video. Now, today, however, I'm going to share with you, I really don't know what to call it. This is the way my brain works, and this is what my wife has had to deal with for 23 years. I'm 50 years old as of last Sunday. I don't think this is going to get any better. So I would like to share with you an album that I got. This is the Dire Straits, and I know a couple of you are already rolling your eyes. I mean, it's like, brothers in arms and so on and so forth. It just gets worn out as far as audiophile, talking about audiophile and audiophile recordings and so on and so forth. And we're not really going to go at this from this angle. I've always enjoyed Dire Straits, and this is the original album. I forget what year was it. It wasn't 79. What year was it? Quite frankly, I've dove so deep on, 78. Yeah, 1978. So I have dove so deeply on Steely Dan here lately that I've got those dates mashed up in my head. But 1978, Dire Straits comes out with an album. This right here is a, it's an OG. It's the first pressing. I believe it is a Netherlands pressing. And I bought it. It was one of the first, it wasn't one of my first albums. It was, how do you say it? I guess you could say, as soon as my mind started turning more audiophile, it did become, because a lot of the hype around Brothers in Arms, audiophile hype, it became one I was trying to search out. I wanted to get all of their records. I wanted to get the OGs if I could. And if I could, I wanted to get any audiophile editions of them. But for the first one, got this one. It's a Netherlands pressing. I got it home, got it from Latvia, by the way. Got a slightly interesting story about how that worked out. It took forever to get it from the guy. Literally 6 weeks before he even shipped it. Well, he shipped it, and the postal code, the tracking code was sent to me, and it literally sat in the post office in Latvia for 6 weeks or 4 weeks. When it finally did ship, it took 2 weeks to get to me. So in any case, and the neat little story about that is I was at a friend of mine's house, and his wife was on the phone with a lady, and I made a mention about this. I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be getting a package from Latvia, blah, blah, blah. And this thing is, he says, Barbara's on the phone with a girlfriend of hers from Latvia right now. So anyway, I was able to, on speakerphone, vent a little bit. And she said the postal system over there was an absolute disaster. So in any case, right on by that. But this actually has ended up being, this is important if you focus on the last episode and how I talked about the vinyl philosophy of what I would rather do. I would rather go buy UHQR or an MSFL or Analog Productions this, or so on and so forth. Rhino Records audiophile edition of something. I would rather spend my money on that versus buying an OG that says they're near mint on Discogs, and all of a sudden it comes back and it's very good, or even less, it's maybe just good condition, or maybe fair condition. There's just so much risk with that. But every now and then there's reward. And right here there was a great reward. But I'm gonna show you how that rubber band comes back. So I buy this album, I get it on, and it sounds so good. It just, I'm telling you, it sounds so good. In fact, Michael Fremer and I were talking about this album back at Audio Fest in Raleigh last August. And Michael Fremer agreed with me that this was a fantastic sounding album in the original pressings. And it is. It's, for a long time, it was the best sounding album I had in my library. It is actually still the best sounding non-audiophile record I have in my catalog, or my whatever you want to call it. So it's fantastic, right? So then what do? Now, this is the way my brain ticks. 23 years of marriage to my wife, raising my kids 21 years and 19 years. They see it every day. It's the way the cookie crumbles with Wilson, okay? So what do? You know what's coming. Most of you do. Most of you know exactly where I'm going with this. Don't know how bad the glare is. I got the Vinyl Storage Solutions crystal clear, and it is. They're beautiful. The outer covers are just beautiful, these gatefolds. But I got this, and I got this early on in my audiophile journey. I would say this was, I actually got Brothers in Arms first. So then this opportunity come up. I bought it. Now here's the key. I bought it from a, not a store on Discogs, because, you know, there's a lot of bricks and mortar stores that have a store on Discogs, have their offerings on Discogs. Well, this was just an individual, and it was near mint, and I'm telling you, it is near mint. It had been opened, and some of these details had slipped me. And what does that matter? I'll explain in just a minute. But some of these details had slipped me, whether I bought it from a brick and mortar on Discogs. I know I got it on Discogs, but I couldn't remember brick and mortar or an individual seller. And I had a problem with this album. As much as I loved it, here's how the cookie crumbles. As much as I love this album, on side 2, pardon me, disc 2, side 4. So the back side of the disc, there are 4 pops. I do not mean, I know you're rolling your eyes. I do not mean snap, crackle, pop. I mean pow, 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 just like that. Sounds terrible. It's not a low pitch, it's a real high pitch. And anyway, I dealt with it. I was like, man, I love the way the rest of the album sounds. It's dead quiet. I love it. Paid a near mint price for it. I think they were retailing for $59, but you couldn't get them retail at the time. They were not pressing them. This is pre-MoFi gate. So the whole deal about the DSD and all that had not come out yet. So they were not, in their mind, they had run as many of them as they were going to run, I think. And so this is what we were looking at. I got these huge noises on this last side of the disc. And I'm just torn up about it. And over time, it's just eating at me. I'm driving down the road or I'm laying in the bed. It's the way the cookie crumbles. And I'm thinking, man, I need to call Mobile Fidelity and just see if they'll do anything for me. Well, anyway, I keep putting it off. And I actually had another album that, the Michael Jackson Thriller album, that had seam splits. I mean, brand new right out the box. So I called Mobile Fidelity, and they sent me a new set of inner sleeves. Fantastic. No questions asked. Sent it to me. No problems. Beautiful. I actually need to do that with Van Halen, because Van Halen's got seam splits. It's a terrible problem on those one-step box sets. And I'm going to do a video on that, talk about that. That is crazy to spend that kind of money and have that kind of problem. But you do have them backing you up. They are shipping out the replacements. They have the replacements. And I figured in my mind, I was like, you know, maybe they've got some replacement. They call them parts. She said, we have parts in stock and we will get them sent straight out tomorrow for you. Great, fantastic. So I thought maybe I ought to give them a call about that. But I chickened out. After I looked the email up for the Discogs invoice, I was like, you know, they're not going to do anything about that. And I don't want to, you know, it's second-handed. This is not coming from a store. It's coming from an individual. Second-handed. So that was that. And then I did that. That's the way the cookie crumbles with me. So this come in today. I ordered it, I guess, Saturday or Sunday or something like that from Music Direct. That's basically part of the MoFi company. And over 4 clicks or 4 pops, but 4 very, very loud pops. Quite frankly, if you don't know where they're at on the album and you've got the system turned up to 100 decibels, I think you could blow a speaker. I definitely believe you could damage the speaker. So there's my 15-minute timer. I better get to the point and get it over with. But anyway, that's the way my brain works. I wanted to get it replaced by MoFi, kind of under warranty. Decided, well, hey, look, it's not a MoFi was not my. I was not a customer of MoFi. I was a customer of this dude, really. So I decided to take it on me. I mean, look, it's been 2 years, a year and a half since I bought it. $60. It was 50 then. Pretty sure it was 50. I paid 60 for it last week. So I've got, in the OG, I've got like $40 with shipping. In that one, I've got probably $50, $55. And then right here, I've got another 60, probably with shipping, another 10, but I got another album, so I split that shipping between them. $65. So what do you think? Have I lost my freaking mind? I got to admit to you, while I was checking out in the cart on Music Direct, I was like, you know what, man? I don't need to do this. I know where those pops are. I've got them marked. I know where they're at. I just need to lower the volume, get through them, but I can't do it. This is where I'm at. This is how my brain works. This is how I roll. So now, going forward, you'll be able to see some of my philosophy. And it's this way with the equipment too. It's not all about the music. It's about the gear too. So anyway, I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll click like. I hope you will. I want to thank you for watching. I look forward to your comments about how freaking crazy I am. Anyway, we'll catch you later.